Have you ever wondered why you go on your phone, you check one notification, and then you end up scrolling for hours, one reel after the next?
You end up in a loop. It happens to me all the time.
It's like a positive reinforcement if you're doing well, but what happens if you are not doing so well?
We want to also be clever enough as people who are selling our services and businesses to not just fall into that trap, but leverage that trap. Welcome to the Social Edge podcast. I'm Georgia.
And I'm Ishu.
And today we're talking about the psychology behind social media, why we just can't stop the scroll.
Crazy, hey? Big topic.
Big topic.
We're hitting it off really well. Great start. But one of the things that I kind of often think about is when you go and check one notification on your phone and you end up scrolling for hours, one reel after the next, or one TikTok
You
after
end up
the
in a
next.
loop. It happens
Oh
to me
my gosh.
all the time. So, you know, I just find myself like I click on Instagram and I jump into a reel or something, and then that's it. I'm like
You're
hooked
hooked.
into the
That's
algorithm, and there I am. Next thing I know, I'm deep into someone's story. Like,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's happening to me a lot.
Well, we're unpacking it today. I'm very excited about this topic. I think it's one of the trending ones where people want us to perhaps share a little bit of an opinion.
Yeah.
So let's dive into it. I mean, I want to start with question one is why is social media so addictive? I mean, what really captures people to be scrolling for hours? What about scrolling keeps us so attached? And what are we searching for, really?
Yeah, well, I think like the psychology behind social media is why it is so addictive. So, you know, it was created to be that way, or it is being created to be that way. We touched on in previous episodes, you know, you can watch The Social Dilemma. I think it's on Netflix.
Yep.
Yeah, so watch that on Netflix. It is really interesting because it's about how, is that what it's called? The Social Dilemma?
Social dilemma.
Yeah. So you can watch that, and it's about how the creators of social media platforms, or the people behind the sort of pushing of notifications, etc., they do it to align with the kind of same psychology or mentality of casinos.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get you addicted or hooked in so that you keep scrolling, keep engaging, keep going into the app, because obviously these apps thrive when they have more users, and those users keep coming back, and the users are going to it every day, and then they're sharing more and commenting more and engaging more. That's what the platforms want you to do. Also, that's why the algorithms love when you do that. So like, you know, we'll talk a bit about the algorithm in other episodes, but in terms of like how it can benefit you or how it can hinder you, is it even real? There's like this thing, is the algorithm even real? Of course it's real. There's reasons why certain content hits well, certain content doesn't hit well. But the point is, when it comes to like its addictiveness, the platforms respond well to you utilizing them. So like, for example, one of the like tactics you can use to push engagement on your post is you go into the platform, you start engaging and you're commenting on other people's things, and you start interacting with other people's content and watching content. You then post your post, and then afterwards you continue to do the same thing for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Rather than just coming onto the platform, post, and then off you go.
Yeah, that's it.
Post and ghost. Like, it's not going to pick up on that same sort of engagement. So it's telling you, we want you to do this. So then for posters or people who are actually creating content, putting content out there, it's addictive because you keep engaging to kind of push that algorithm. But then also it's addictive because of, like you said, the way that the platform's set up. So like pretty much all of the apps you were speaking about, like the scrolling, you've got Instagram, it's a scroll feed. You've got Facebook, the reels are scroll as well, TikTok, all scrolling. So you're kind of just in this like rhythm of just going through. So we sort of are talking to people all the time about how can you stop that scroll, which is like trying to get people's attention. But also then, why is social media so addictive? For all the reasons I've just set out and more, it's set up to be that way. And our brains are wired to respond. I'm not a psychologist. I'm sure a psychologist would have a more educated answer to this, though,
Sure.
about exactly what it's doing and why in our human nature we continue to react in that way and to interact. Why, when you get like likes or views or things start to grow, you then encouraged to do more. But what do you think?
I think it's we talked about this in a previous episode about our currencies, our time, but actually when it comes to social media and scrolling, it's our attention.
Yeah.
And I think everybody is looking for that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
One way or another. Nobody's thinking, for example, if you're a content creator or a business owner who's creating content, many businesses would think long-term success, and content creators will think short-term success. What is the next reel I'm going to post that's going to get me the 1 million views, the most engagement. And it's, a lot of people don't consider building on that and creating that momentum. So it's all about every like, every comment, all engagement, which kind of in a sense opens up another conversation about how that affects your mental health, the way you position yourself as a content creator, the steps that you would take in creating content. So I think when it comes to why it's addictive, the dopamine hit is one. Like you said, the platforms are made to create endless scrolling, so you're continuing. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of people also feel like they have this fear of missing out. They don't want to fall behind
FOMO.
Like, for example, sometimes you'll come to me and you'll say, oh, have you seen this reel of this lady doing this thing? And I'm like, oh, no, I haven't.
Yeah.
Perhaps the algorithm hasn't hit me. But then I think, did I not scroll enough?
Yeah, it's almost like if you're not on social media now, what are you doing? You're living under a rock.
Yeah.
But like, look back to before social media was really a thing. We would get all our news updates by watching the news. We would get like fashion insights from just literally reading a magazine. Or like Fashion Week would happen in person. You would read the magazine, you'd see it there. I guess maybe TV shows, right? So everything was so like delayed gratification.
Time, right? Yes.
And now because of social media, it's like you've got everything on in
fingertips,
the
right?
Yeah, right on the moment. Like when like the elections were happening, you're getting minute by minute updates of what's going on.
Recently, this happened actually. Yesterday, I was watching about Donald Trump coming off from Air Force One.
Yeah.
And he usually gives a short press conference. One of the news ladies hit him with the boom mic in the face.
Oh my gosh, I haven't
that
even
made
seen
the
this.
news in minutes on social media before the news caught it.
Yeah.
Which just tells you, oh my gosh, right?
It's so much faster because they can just get it out. And
That's
like
it.
the thing is, if you follow the news channels on social media, you're gonna get like more like that kind of thing, like behind the scenes sort of moments of what's going on, the play by play, rather than like a well articulated sort of news
What
run.
happened,
like
how it
I
happened.
don't sit and watch the news, but I follow all the news channels on social media, and I just get my news hit via that. Or like I say to Siri, like, hey Siri, give me the news in 10 minutes, and Siri just plays me the news. So it's like everything is like so much easier. But totally to that idea of FOMO, like you just said that, I was like, I haven't seen that. Yesterday was a busy day for me, I haven't seen that. Why is that? It's just because I wasn't on social media so much yesterday because I was busy. And then I feel like, I've missed that, I need to watch it. So totally that FOMO feeling. Okay, so what psychological tricks do platforms use to keep us hooked? And how can we obviously let's talk about the what they're using, and then let's talk about how we can help people leverage that.
For sure.
So first of all, what tricks are they using?
I mean, thinking about this, we have so many different areas that we can touch on, but one of the most kind of effective one is creating a little bit of FOMO, like for people to be engaged, but on the back of that is creating a space for people to be rewarded.
Okay.
So for example, we have one of the things that I get hit by from the algorithm is the BOTB, winning a car for pennies here in the UK type of thing.
Okay, yeah.
Where you basically go and subscribe for 35p or whatever, and then eventually if they pick your number.
I know.
Right, you've seen this, right?
They've done like houses and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. So in a way, on social media, they kind of hit you with all these different rewards, all these different variables of like, you can spend a little to then gain a lot. So creating variable rewards and
Yeah.
ability for you to be notified and for you to be hooked, but take action on.
Yeah. And things like even just like the way the notifications are like set up, right? So someone will engage with your post, or someone will even post themselves now,
Yeah.
and you'll get a notification pop up on your phone, and it's like, oh,
Wait a
suddenly
minute.
you're like notified, and it's like, oh, I better check that out.
Yeah.
And someone message you, oh, notification, boop, like let me
That's
see
it.
what they've said. So it's like we don't have that, like, you know, you don't have that luxury now of like holding
back or
yeah,
having
taking
the control, right?
space, like,
Yeah.
you know, you kind of lose that control. And so you can obviously manage that yourself. Like people have ways that they want to manage it. We're not going to go into the detail of that today. But the thing is, these algorithms and these platforms are set to just notify. And that almost in itself is like a little reward, because it's like, hello, you just got a like. Hello, someone
That's
just
it.
commented on your post. And it makes you feel like,
Yeah.
infused,
You're
like-
arriving somewhere, right?
yeah, almost good about it, right? Like it's making you feel, oh, I just got a little notification.
Even with your reels, like for example, if you post a reel and on average your reels are hitting, let's say 3,000 to 5,000, but as soon as you post it within the first hour, it hits 10,000. Instagram
Yeah.
would say, hey, your reel hit 10,000 in the first 1 hour of posting.
Yes.
You
And
kind of go,
even
oh
like
my gosh.
Instagram, TikTok, they've got like these little like reward like banners now,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, you got this many views and et
That's
cetera,
it.
et cetera, which is,
Yeah.
again, it's just like it making you feel like you've achieved something
Yeah.
through social media.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I think they're doing to like get people hooked. So yeah, and then it kind of links into the next one, which is like this sort of like social validation.
That's
So
it.
it's like you're being validated by people liking, by people commenting. So like if you put up a post, or a business puts out a post and it gets like loads of views and loads of comments, it's like validation to you saying, hey, I like what you're putting out there. It's like the equivalent of like a pat on the back or like a high five, but virtual, right?
Yeah.
And through social
100%.
media.
And we all need it, I guess, to an extent. It's, you know, we talked about short feedback loops on the previous episode. Everybody needs that recognition to know that they're doing okay, if not well.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it's like a positive reinforcement.
Yeah,
if you're doing
reinforcement,
well.
totally.
But what happens if you are not doing so well?
Things don't perform
Right.
so good.
Right.
But that's good, right? So like you're saying, it's like the reason it's like psychologically a trick is because you're getting that validation, which makes you infused and what makes you want to post more.
Yeah.
But then the flip side of that is if you're not getting that validation, it tells you, something's not resonating with my audience. I need to like change my tact.
Yeah. So should this begs me to ask the question: should we be having people stop scrolling more often? When you, let's say, okay, let me reframe the question. Let's say I'm just starting my personal brand and I'm just beginning to post, just beginning to content create. Should my focus be to stop people from scrolling to watch my posts, or should my focus be to be filming and posting so I become visible to then eventually
there's
have
two
people stop?
things, right? One is like the idea of stopping the scroll, i.e., someone's doom scrolling
Yeah.
and your post is the one that captures their attention. But it's not just about getting them to watch your reel so that you get the view. What you want them to do is you want them to watch the reel, click on your profile, watch more of your content, then see what you're about, and then go, let me check out their link in bio. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if it's like you're running an ad, you're wanting them to go straight to that link that or like that funnel, whatever you're pushing them to. So the idea of stopping the scroll isn't just so that they watch your content. This is for our ideal client, you know, not just a content creator, but someone who is pushing towards their business, their services, their goods. The idea of stopping the scroll isn't just to stop the scroll so that you get the view or even a like. The idea of stopping the scroll is to push them into your pathway, right? Push them down
Into your funnel.
into your funnel so that they are going into your shop window. So like if you think about it, the reel is just like the first page, right? It's almost like the advertisement in a magazine.
Yeah.
because it's like amongst many others. So if someone's like just doom scrolling, they come across your reel, you want them to like pick up your advert and go, oh, let me run to the shop, right? So that's when they go to your Instagram profile, your page, that's like your shop window. They're going to get a taste for you very quickly. And you could do so many good things to optimize your shop windows. You can like change your bio, and you can like optimize your handle, how you have your image, like what your name is,
where you're driving people,
all these different things, your pin post. There's so much you can do. But once you've caught people on that shop window and they've got a taste for you, you're hoping that they're going to click that link in bio. So the whole idea, I suppose, of like, yes, the platforms are triggered to capture our attention, keep us engaged, keep us hooked, and they play all these little tricks. And then as content creators or businesses who are trying to sell a project or a service, we are hoping that you can create content that doesn't just go out there into the world, but captures that attention and brings people through your funnel.
I love that. It just made me think about Alex Hormozi's thought on the woman in the red dress. Have you heard that analogy before?
No, go on, give it to me.
So you go into a bar.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm a gentleman wearing a nice suit. I love it going out in the evening, low lighting, a nice whiskey, whatever. Single man goes into a bar. He sees from a distance a lady in a red dress in a bar in the middle of all the rest of the, people in the place. It catches his attention. He goes over straight away. He doesn't even know her name, not what she's about, what she does. He just knows, wow, classy, standing out, red dress, goes, and the first thing is attention, capturing the attention.
Caught the attention.
Exactly. And then on the back of that is going and unpacking it further to go, oh, that person now has the confidence to wear a red dress that stands out and conveys attention seeking, to then unpack a further conversation. So in a sense, like you said, the reel should be a little bit like the woman in the red dress.
Capture people's attention to pull them through. So this is the thing. It's like you can leverage the fact that there's a lot of content out there, and you can try different tactics. Like you said, like the red dress, love that. It's like doing different things to make your post stand out. Visual hooks, like we talk about all the time.
Yes.
Different little things that you can do to capture people's attention. And like how the video is edited, how you frame the shot, like visual effects, like all these different things can do that to kind of capture people's attention. Then whatever you're doing is like going to push people through. So I love this. And I think whilst we have to be mindful from a human perspective that these are how the platforms are set up, to psychologically trap us into scrolling, we want to also be clever enough as people who are selling our services and businesses to not just fall into that trap, but leverage that trap. Realize that you can still pull people into your journey.
Well, we've had a lot of actually previous clients of ours, and even some of our current clients now, that were so great at posting content and getting an engagement, but didn't have the next step, which is actually grabbing those people and creating the value path for them to dive into their funnel. To convert them, exactly. Whether that's for the followers, whether that's sales, whether that's building the audience, it's super important. So this begs us the question here is, what does this mean for content creators and perhaps businesses moving forward?
Yeah. I think you just need to be mindful of the fact that you are competing with the masses in terms of you're trying to get attention. But it's never been easier to compete. If you think about it in the history of time, think about years ago, and you are an individual, you start up a business, you've got your little shop in your little town, and you're relying on word of mouth, newspapers, reputation, and you're going to try and get your message out there, but the advertising and the marketing was like limited, right? And you've got really your circumference, your area of like reach is so much smaller. But now you've got this opportunity to hit people worldwide and any times of the day. Like this is the thing, we post like geographically according to our location, like our time zones, but technically you could post in a different time zone. There's still going to be people who see it if you've got an audience that reaches beyond your location. So and particularly like when you think about there's some brands that really overlap between UK and US. So you've got like 5 extra hours in the day really to reach people, because you can rely on the time zone of EST, for example, or even more if you like going into like California time zone, Pacific. So the thing is, you can be smart in that you now realize that you've got a worldwide stage, you've got worldwide reach. So you've got opportunities greater than ever.
Yeah.
However, you might be competing with more, or the market might be a bit more infiltrated. Like, you know, we touched on before, there's so many marketing agencies out there, social media marketing agencies, what makes us different. But you have to just know, like, this comes back to knowing your offering, knowing your business, knowing what you stand for, recognizing that there's enough pie for everyone to have a piece, and just putting yourself out there. Don't be like afraid by the fact that there is this constant scrolling going on. Instead, just keep trying to do things, and this is where our client managers come in and help people, right? They come up with like these incredible ideas and tactics and trends to help our clients tap into what might work for them. But once you figure out something that works for you, it's just good to kind of like double down on that. And like figure out what your audience want, keep giving it to them. You know, not just your audience that you've developed, your community, but like your intended audience. You have to kind of create content, you know, like the red dress, really, right? Because sometimes I think people can get into the trap of just putting out content all the time that is
flashy, attractive,
informative, but you know, you might not reach your intended audience, like your avatar, by doing that.
Because people get bored out of that, right?
Because people get bored.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to do something more dramatic, like the red dress, to capture people's attention, pull them into your shop window, and then get them to like have a piece of the pie, you know?
And some people might not like that. So for example, maybe I've said this woman in the red dress example, maybe this rubs people the wrong way about, you know, feminism and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
If that came to an audience part, I would imagine certain people that don't really have the same view, they will be perhaps not attracted to that content, but there'll be a majority of people that perhaps will. Right? In the same way that, you know, if you're a business consultant and you're pushing out valuable content that's with business consulting, businesses that require that information, they need it, they desire it, they will follow it. But then at one point, they will need a little bit more than just the little tip, the little trick. The little example.
You kind of then have to create content to suit your audience, and you have to figure out what you want your audience on, like the social platforms. What do they want to receive from you? Now, like one client in particular I can think of, you know, we've worked really hard to help refine their personal brand online, and they constantly wanted to be putting out this kind of like teachy content. But actually, like, that wasn't resonating with the masses. The thing is, they have, like, online courses. They have online events. They have opportunities for people to go deeper should they want to. Like, should they want to convert. But the shop window stuff, the stuff on Instagram, the stuff on the Reels, is really just giving people a taste to push them through. So I do think, like if you're creating content with this in mind, with it, like understanding people's attention span, understanding that you are competing with the masses, you kind of have to just put out something that's palatable enough to capture people's attention, like strong enough to convey your message and who you are, but not like boring, and by boring I don't mean that your post is boring, but not like something that's just going to fall into the noise. You need to do something dramatic and almost like eye-catching enough, like build yourself as a thought leader. Once you've established a bit of a platform, then like you can really start to put those tips out. Like look at Hermosi, right? Like obviously he's well established now I'm bringing up Hermosi because you mentioned him, but like there's loads of others. But you know, you establish yourself as a thought leader, and then you can really put out anything that you want, and people are listening already because you've engaged your audience. But before you get to that point, it's really good to kind of just give people a taste.
That's it.
And then I think there's like an ancient Chinese proverb, and it's something about like giving people a taste of the pear so that they would come through. Like that's what I think about like with these things. You want people to taste and then see.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because we talk about, Alex Hormozi's journey. The reason why he's successful now is because he did the thing over and over and over again. Repetition is very key with this sort of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't
repetition.
know what you don't know, right? So it's almost that journey of we talk about feedback loops all the time, but it is always about that. No matter what point of content creation you look at or what thread you pull out, is about doing the thing over and over and over again, but it's not just about eye-catching. And I want to pick your brain about this a little bit. So let's say we create content that is eye-catching. On the back of that, should it also be something that catches the ear? Because then we're looking for attention, right? To keep people watching.
Yeah. The thing is, you've got to weigh up, right? I think there's like a huge percentage, and I don't know the number off the top of my head, huge percentage of people are scrolling and watching on silent.
Yeah.
They're on the tube.
It's
they're in work, sneakily on their phone. Yeah. They're like amongst, like some people are like sat in conversations these days. They're bored, so they're scrolling. So this is why it's so important to have subtitles. Like this was established a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people watching on silent. So you need to have like engaging people with the visual hooks and the text.
Yeah.
But I do think sound plays a part. It's like, you want to convey,
emotion,
apart from being able to touch someone, video can convey all the senses.
Video is king,
smell.
by the way.
Can't smell.
Well, that's it.
It can make you think about a smell, though, which is
100%.
almost like, you can get that there. So you can engage as much of the senses as possible. So, like, what you want to do is you want to try and sort of tap into all areas.
It's so interesting, right? Sometimes when I watch videos, it almost like catches my attention to think about my childhood or how I grew up or how I came up in business.
So it's reflective.
Yeah, and those are the moments where I engage most with the content to either comment or like or save.
But like, let's talk about something like in a different sphere. Like, so some of our clients have podcasts. Obviously, this is our podcast. When you're creating content, like short form content on social media to push people to your podcast, all you want to do is get them to think, oh, that was engaging enough. That little thought was interesting enough that I now want to go and listen to that episode.
Yeah.
So that's the hook, right? And then once they're an engaged podcast listener, one, you're obviously going to grow your podcast and you might like monetize that. But second of all, you're going to like build that, like, someone we know used to say eyeballs, like getting eyeballs or something, but it's also about like building that authority.
Oh my
so
gosh,
like once someone has listened to you enough and they trust your voice as like a thought leader or someone who knows, so you build that authority, and once you've built that authority, you can then put out your offer on social media, and that person's going to buy because they've had enough touch points with you. All those touch points.
But it's interesting that you say this, because I've had quite a few conversations with some of our clients that are filming podcasts, and sometimes they would ask the question, how long should a episode be? Should it be 15 minutes? Should it be 20? Should it be 40? And I think the important part here, guys, to take away is it could be 5 minutes, so long it's the most valuable 5 minutes. It could be 2 hours, so long there's value for 2 hours, right? People at the end of the day, once they jump off, they want to kind of reflect and look back. What did I take away from this? You just want
to take something away from it, right? So
absolutely.
So I think like in terms of like, what does this mean for creators and marketers? What do we feel this means for like our clients, people listening? If this is how the platforms are set up to psychologically hit us, to hook us in, to make us just keep coming back to those platforms, which we know they do. We're all victims of that.
That's it.
So if we're all falling foul to that and we all keep coming back, how can we leverage that? What can clients of ours, people listening, what can they do?
Absolutely. I have 3 points here that I want to touch on. One of them is ethical content creation.
Yeah.
And that really is balancing engagement with responsibility. So balancing the content you're putting out, how you're engaging people, and then what you're giving them, long term.
Yeah.
Right. And then ultimately, just your awareness of people's mental health. Right. We talked about this in a previous episode again. It's like your content can impact positively or negatively. It is engagement, and you can at any point turn people around. If you're getting negative engagement, you're getting those keyboard warriors to be, attacking you and really getting into your DMs, you can turn around that content if you consider, okay, how can I, if that was the thing I want to do, convey my message so it does fit them or suit them.
Yeah,
or vice
but
versa.
also we touched upon like back in the olden days when when Instagram first came out, for example, and I remember it was like taboo to post more than once a day.
Oh my gosh!
And I remember my one friend, she she got an Instagram account for the first time, and she just posted like 10 posts in one day, and I made a meme. And it was like her. She was like, I think I had a photo of her where she was like this, like for those 20 days, and I like put this bit, and I put like her name joins Instagram, like and it was like this. But obviously at the time it was so funny, but obviously at the time, like my community, I suppose, on Instagram was like all my friends in college, like, so I was like must be like 16 or 17, and like it was all my friends, so obviously everyone thought that was so funny because everyone had just been blasted by her posts. So it kind of comes back to like that idea what you're saying about like being mindful of your viewers. It's
Absolutely.
like actually your viewers want to consume your content in pieces. They want like it's like they want a snack. They don't want a 5-course
meal.
buffet.
That's
They don't want like it's like you go to Italy a lot because your girlfriend's Italian. When you go to Italy, you have like 7 courses and it's like huge, or aperitivo, and it's like all these different things. Like your followers do not want
that.
a full 7-course meal. They want a little bite-sized snack that they can like consume and go yum, and then they can come back for more tomorrow.
Well, it's almost like when you think about Netflix, like Netflix have nailed down series, like when it comes to series, those cliffhangers at the end of every episode.
Yes.
It makes you want to just click next and watch again.
This actually links back to what we were saying before about how like autoplay.
Yeah.
So, right, okay. So Netflix, look what they do. So now it's like you're watching an episode. It's like, I really enjoyed that episode. It was so great. This is your internal monologue. I really enjoyed that episode. It was so great. I can't wait to watch another, but I'm going to stop watching now. And it's like next episode playing in 10, 9, 8, 7. And you're like, so then it's like it was
point,
so
right?
good. The hook was so good. So then you just like, okay, I'm in another episode. So it's like you're doom watching like series, like what do you call it? Binge watching series.
Yeah, that's it.
Now the social media platforms obviously like caught that, and they're like, people are doom binge watching Netflix. Let's just like doom binge watch reels. But TikTok, oh my gosh, this is where TikTok really came to play, right? Because like TikTok sort of developed this method before Instagram. Instagram sort of were like, oh, and we'll pick that up and we'll jump on it. But TikTok, they were like, let's just get people, stop them watching like series. Let's just get them watching hours and hours of TikToks of contents, and like the series on TikTok, it's the same sort of thing. So like you just kind of like you jump into it, like you catch someone's video, you go into their profile, that's that loop, like that coming through the shop window. Go into their profile and you go, this is a series. But on TikTok as well, if you like see something that's a series, it'll already come up to recommend the next episode of the series. And then you're sort of like, we'll just watch the whole series on TikTok.
But
and you can spend an hour just watching short form content.
Oh,
it's
my
wild.
gosh. And it happens to me all the time now. It happens to you all the time now. But the funny thing is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And this is what the social platforms are doing. If you look at, just going back to the Netflix thing, if you go to your homepage on Netflix right now, your first bar of series will be recommended based on what you watched.
Yes.
Right? They're capturing going, at the end of the binge watching that he's done, I've given him a thumbs up, thumbs down, or I love it button. It's almost like on social media. The more you press the heart, the more you save things.
That's the content that will keep getting pushed to you. So like, so for content creators and marketers, it's like you have to be mindful of all of this, but you can also leverage this, right? Like what you're saying is so good because people get confused. They think, the trends are just keep trending and I can't come up with content ideas and what do I post? And you can get in your head. But actually, it doesn't have to be that deep. Like you can kind of like, if something works, you can pivot and you can kind of tap into that idea. And like the analogy you just gave is so good. So if you watch something on Netflix, so I'm just going to use me as an example. I watched Gilmore Girls, favorite program ever. Watched it so many times over and over again since I was young. In fact, I kind of like, apart from certain elements, I like do resonate a lot with Lorelai.
I'm not going to ask why.
I don't know, but I always used to watch it and I was like, okay, I love coffee and she loves coffee. And I was like, Lorelai has like this daughter, Rory, and I now have a daughter. So I'm like, oh, like it's all coming true. Anyway, I'm diverted. Let me come back. The point is, I watch Gilmore Girls on Netflix. So then Netflix is like, because you watch Gilmore Girls, why not try this? Okay, so it's like for social media, because you posted this content and it resonated with your audience, why not try a linked idea, another linked idea, another linked idea? So for example, let's just put something into like a concept into reality that someone can grab hold of. Takeaway. That's the word I was thinking of, takeaway. So imagine you post a reel and it's like a day in the life, and you've done a day in the life of a CEO of X company, and it resonates. Okay, well, why not now do a day in the life of a person who's balancing this, and this, or a day in the life of this, and this? Do you see what I mean? So you can keep on the same sort of idea, but create new content.
It's almost
around
a given for you already. You can kind of pull the thread and
pivot.
niche down. I mean, you can either niche up or you can niche down with strategy. And I want to pick your brain about this, and we can bring the episode to a close here. But content strategy shifts. I think this is something that I think our audience will benefit from. And this is something we've seen with our clients. Often people think once they set one strategy at the beginning, they think, oh, that's it. I can't shift because maybe that will change my brand. I personally think that's false. And I think you can always
try new things.
That's it. Change the direction,
but testing,
evolve.
like be willing to just test something different. If it doesn't resonate, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Hide from feed.
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Now Instagram's done this feature where you can go and
post to the reels, not the grid.
That's it. Exactly. You can save on the reels as well, save posts that have performed well, not on your grid specifically.
You can go back in time and change it if you don't want it on the grid anymore, but still want it on the reel.
Your interested section, you can put keywords and change your interests.
It's all geared towards this. So I think here's the takeaway, right? Social media is engineered to keep you on it.
That's it.
So your marketplace is on it.
That's it.
Right? Leverage it, make it work for you, and don't be afraid by that. Just keep trying new things.
Yes.
Keep giving people a reason to come back. Give people a reason to go to your shop window.
Yeah. That's it. And I think, at the end of the day, you have to have thick skin when it comes to this stuff. If you want to be on social media, you have to be ready for the critical feedback, for the dislikes, maybe for the terrible comments or whatever it is. But, you said this in the last episode, the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The second best time is today, right? So keep on planting trees and, chase after the right dopamine hits for you. But more than that, really be intentional about what your audience wants to hear from you based on looking back at your content and the things that you're putting out.
Love it.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.